I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. So we are returning to our histories now, going back to 2 Kings. Now, recall, where we left off is in the reign of Hezekiah, or the end of the reign of Hezekiah. We actually finished his reign out. In his reign, he successfully repels an Assyrian invasion with the help of the Lord. An angel destroys the army of Assyria and they retreat. And we don't see them again invading Judah during the life of Hezekiah, really. Shortly after that, Hezekiah is ill. He's going to die. He prays, and God gives him another 15 years. During that 15 years, Babylon sends some visitors, some ambassadors, and Hezekiah, in his own pride, shows off everything that he has. And God says, well, now Babylon's going to get it all. And then Hezekiah, the rest of his life, is in righteousness and peace, and he dies. And his son Manasseh becomes king. That's where we pick this up. We're going to read about the reign of Manasseh. 2 Kings chapter 21. Manasseh turns Judah to idolatry, even sacrificing his son to a heathen god. Prophets foretell destruction of Judah and Jerusalem. Wickedness continues under Amon. Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 55 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Hephzibah. Before we continue, Manasseh has the longest reign of any king in either Judah or Israel. 55 years. He was 12 years old when he became king, which means he dies at the age of 67. Remember, Hezekiah was a great king, and he was a great man, very righteous king, likely the greatest king that Israel has ever had. Verse 2, And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, after the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel. For he built up again the high places which Hezekiah his father had destroyed, and he reared up altars for Baal, and made a grove, as did Ahab king of Israel, and worshipped all the host of heaven, and served them. And he built altars in the house of the Lord, of which the Lord said, In Jerusalem will I put my name. And he built altars for all the host of heaven in the two courts of the house of the Lord. And he made his son pass through the fire, and observed times, and used enchantments, and dealt with familiar spirits and wizards. He wrought much wickedness in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. And he set a graven image of the grove that he had made in the house of which the Lord said to David and to Solomon his son, In this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, will I put my name forever. Neither will I make the feet of Israel move any more out of the land which I gave their fathers, only if they will observe to do according to all that I have commanded them, and according to all the law that my servant Moses commanded them. But they hearkened not, and Manasseh seduced them to do more evil than did the nations whom the Lord destroyed before the children of Israel. Manasseh now becomes the most wicked king in all the history of Judah. Remember, Hezekiah's father Ahaz, up to his point, he was the most evil. He was committing human sacrifice and all that, all those abominations. But now Manasseh, he does all the same things that Ahaz did. He's even doing them more. He has set up multiple idols in the courts of the temple and placed the big idol in the temple itself. Ahaz, he just shut the temple down. He wouldn't let them use the temple. He wouldn't let them worship there. Manasseh is polluting the temple. He's doing everything Ahaz did, and he's polluting the temple. Now, how did he become so evil when he had such a great father as Hezekiah? We might be somewhat tempted to think that he was influenced by Ahaz. But he's only 12 years old when he becomes king, and Hezekiah was king for 29 years, which means he was born 17 years after Ahaz died. We aren't told exactly what influenced him to become this evil, to become this wicked. But he clearly is embracing everything around him. Now, it is likely, being only 12 years old when he became king, that he had counselors, advisors, that advised him to build this up. And the idea most likely is if we participate in these pagan worship services, if we join in the pagan religion, they will be less likely to attack us because they will see us as one of them. I think that's the most likely reason that Manasseh became this wicked, this evil. But we will see how his reign continued. Now, I don't think that Kings here gives us a lot of detail, but we will get some more of it in Chronicles. So let us continue here. Verse 10. And the Lord spake by his servants the prophets, saying, Because Manasseh king of Judah hath done these abominations, and hath done wickedly above all that the Amorites did, which were before him, and hath made Judah also to sin with his idols. Therefore thus saith the Lord God of Israel, Behold, I am bringing such evil upon Jerusalem and Judah, that whosoever heareth of it, both his ears shall tingle. And I will stretch over Jerusalem the line of Samaria, and the plummet of the house of Ahab. And I will wipe Jerusalem as a man wipeth a dish, wiping it and turning it upside down. And I will forsake the remnant of mine inheritance, and deliver them into the hand of their enemies, and they shall become a prey and a spoil to all their enemies, because they have done that which was evil in my sight, and have provoked me to anger since the day their fathers came forth out of Egypt, even unto this day. Moreover, Manasseh shed innocent blood very much, till he had filled Jerusalem from one end to another, beside his sin wherewith he made Judah to sin, in doing that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. Now this is a stunning rebuke, because he said, everything I did to Samaria, everything that I did to the northern kingdom of Israel, I'm going to do to Jerusalem. It is going to be just as destroyed, just as wiped clean as Samaria was. But notice that last one. Manasseh did not just engage in these pagan worships and pollute the temple. He shed innocent blood till he had filled Jerusalem from one end to another. He is mass murder here. That is what this is. This is such death and devastation caused by the king. Let us read two more verses here. Verse 17. Now the rest of the acts of Manasseh, and all that he did, and his sin that he sinned, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And Manasseh slept with his fathers, and was buried in the garden of his own house, in the garden of Uzzah. And Amon his son reigned in his stead. That does not finish out the chapter there. The rest of the chapter is the reign of Amon, but we are going to just read the reign of Manasseh for this video. Manasseh has become the most evil king ever in the history of the Israelite nation. And it has led all the people into idolatry, but also he is persecuting and murdering hundreds, if not thousands of people. During 52 years of reigning, you can kill a lot of people. Now, we are going to read a second account of Manasseh in the book of Chronicles next, so stay tuned for that. See you there.